Turn my mic up. Turn my mother effing mic up. Big up to the NBA community, man. Y'all already know who I be. I'm Seven Mitchell. This is the Best of Seven Sports Talk, your favorite NBA YouTube platform. Salute again to all the sports fans today, this morning. Topic of discussion. Y'all already know the vibes. We got to get into Dame time. We got to talk about the homie Damian Lillard. The $1,000,000 question at the end of the day: where the hell is Damian Lillard going to land? This conversation to me has just always been funny because for years I've been saying Dame needs to request a trade out of Portland. Dame needs to request a trade out of Portland. I've been saying this since the Lakers won their championship in the bubble. Because it's not about Dame and Lillard, the player. It's about the marketplace that he is in. Portland is not a city that another star basketball player will want to come and play with Dame and have to build for another 3 to 5 years because they don't have enough pieces to make any real type run in the Western Conference. So the city of Portland, no disrespect, is not the typical marketplace at this time for another star to come and link up with Damian Lillard. Like they had Carmelo Anthony, they had CJ McCullough, they broke that up. And that for the most part was the icing on the cake because like I said, no one wants to really come to play with Portland. It's not going to be an overnight success situation. And I've just been saying, Dame needs to just bounce. Dame needs to dip because he's going to need some help. Now, how many times have we watched Damian Lillard time and time again talk about how, he ain't really jacking the whole super team thing and, he really want to go and get this thing done on his own. Like, I think he watched Giannis Antetokounmpo lead the Milwaukee Bucks to their championship. And I think Dame, in his twisted mind, thought that he could reciprocate the same thing that Giannis did in Milwaukee. But Giannis got another all-star with him in Chris Middleton. And, Drew Holiday, very elite defensive player, very good coach, a proven coach. And Coach Budenholzer, even though he got fired, but Dame just didn't have the same pieces that Giannis had when Giannis won. So I really could never understand why the hell, he would take this approach of feeling like, I can make something happen in Portland. Never. So now as we fast forward, right, the big talk is Dame has requested a trade. And not only is Dame requested a trade, Damian Lillard doesn't want to come to he doesn't want to go anywhere else but Miami. Scrub Zero in the building. Scrub, salute my G. I'll go ahead and drop the link if you want to join me. He says Giannis makes his teammates better, but Giannis just had a better team by default. The Milwaukee roster to me was way better than the damn Portland roster. But now we got a situation where Dame is steadfast on wanting to play with Miami, according to the reports. The problem is Dame doesn't have a no trade clause. And Portland has the big decision to make whether they are going to appease the desires and the request of Dame, send him where he want to go, or are they going to trade Damian Lillard for, the best situation for their team. Dame has been so loyal to this franchise. All right, cool, that'll work. Dame has been so cool and loyal to this franchise to a fault. I feel like Damian Lillard has missed out on some prime opportunities because of his loyalty with Portland. Now, I've also said if Portland really loves Dame and really respect what he's given to the city and to the organization, they'll go ahead and push the trade. Even when Dame said he wants to stay, they know they can't build anything serious around Dame. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, Portland probably should go ahead and enforce a trade issue with Dame, put him in a position to really be successful, all in the meantime, rebuilding your team and trying to stack your deck. And that's really where we up at this point, because I'm seeing rumors and speculations that the offer, the package that Miami is trying to give Portland, the Trailblazers are not jacking the package deal that Miami is offering. I think this package deal involves Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, maybe a draft pick or two, but there's no Jimmy Butler, of course. There's not going to be no Bam Adebayo in the trade talks. So it, I'm wondering now, how is this going to play out? Because Dame, even though you got to be loyal to him, or you got to say he's been loyal, I don't know if Portland feel like at this point they owe him something. I'm thinking and I'm feeling like it's team first. What's good, Scrub?
What up, Seven? How you been?
Man, happy fourth to you, bro.
Same to you.
Slow motion, man. What you think about Damian Lillard and this whole trade talk stuff? Because it looked like he wanted to go to Miami, but the Trailblazers are not really excited about the package that Miami is offering. So now there's a situation where the Portland may not trade Dame to where he wants to go. They may do what's best for their organization. Would that be the right move for the team, or do you think they should appease Damian Lillard's request because he's been so loyal?
For the team, it's the right thing to do to get what they can for him. Because, yes, Dame has done a lot for the city of Portland. He's been a great player for them. He's kept them relevant. But when you talk about let's be honest, they got a whole team to build,
That's a
and
fact. That's a fact.
worrying about one player is not in their best interest. Now, if they could, now I think ideally they would like to get Damian to where he wants to go and get a nice return for it. But we know that that rarely works out in that manner. So it's gonna. So as the team's gonna do, they're gonna take care of self, which is to be expected. Honestly,
That's
Dame
how I
should
looked
have.
at it. That's how I
Yeah,
looked at it. But
and mhm.
I'm saying, like, do you agree that that Portland as a city, as an organization, is not a marketplace that other stars will want to come and play basketball and with Dame? Because I feel like even if he was to get another star to come play with him, it's still going to take at least 2 to 3 years for them to build something in Portland. So I'm thinking that's really one of the biggest reasons they can't do anything with Dame. They stuck.
Well, Portland has never been a place for free agents to come to. It's never been a
Mhm.
hot destination. There's not much to do out there. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of what they've done is built through the draft and trading. So at this point in Dame's career, let's say they were to go the path of keeping Dame. Who are you going to get back from that you can actually say we can compete in this Western Conference right now? Like, who can you get back to pair with him? That's available.
In Portland?
Yeah, in Portland. Who can you which superstar that or star player that's available that or could be available realistically?
I honestly, bro, I cannot think of one. The only name that I can think of is a guy who was proven not to be available when we really need it, and that's Kawhi Leonard. Like, I'm looking at that LA Clippers situation with Kawhi and Paul George. I feel like one of those guys are expendable. I don't know which one, but even still, either one you pick, like you said, I don't see them being able to go to Portland, link up with Dame, and be able to change the atmosphere in the Western Conference. It's just simply not going to be enough.
Yeah, there's enough piece Kawhi's injury history that doesn't he's not really on the table to trade. Paul George is a number two option. Let's just call it what it is.
Yep.
Who
Then you got Russell Westbrook over
Russell
there.
Westbrook, but you're not going to pair him with Dame because the style, like they play two different ways, but Dame wants the ball in his hand,
Right.
and I think that's another issue. Dame wants the ball in his hand, and he's not a point guard. He's a two guard playing the one.
When you look at his numbers last year, Scrub, what do you think about Dame overall as a point guard? Is he the best point guard in the league right now? Average over 30 points a game, 7 assists, just under 5 rebounds. He averaged about 4 3-pointers per game. Where
And
would you rank Damian Lillard right now?
I still don't look at him as a point guard. I look at him as a shooting guard playing the point. And
Really?
really. He's never been that kind of player that's really made his teammates better. He's not going to sacrifice his game to get other guys involved. He's going to make sure he gets his, and then he'll go and get everyone else. Now it seemed like it was working at first, but Dame being Dame, he wants to score the ball. So, and you saw what happened like after January, the team started just tail spinning.
And I don't know if that's a recipe for success, no matter where Dame go. If Dame decides to go to Miami or Boston or the Clippers or Philly, he's going to have to somewhat, I think, take a back seat. I think he would have to get his team involved if they really going to make a real run. Dame
he'll get him involved, but not to the point you need where you're expecting from an actual point guard.
You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get
that. Boston, I don't see that working because you got Tatum and he's not. I don't think he's going to sacrifice. Yeah, if you were you'd have to give up Jaylen Brown because they got Porzingis, which I think helps them, but I don't love that move necessarily. Miami, he'd help Miami. I don't think it would be enough to beat a team like Denver, but you got that.
I'm looking right now, and Damian Lillard is still under contract until the 2026-27 season, where he will have a player option. So technically, he's still property of Portland for what, another 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, they got time with him. See, that's the thing, the contract. I think that's. I mean, obviously you can move any contract, but I think that's kind of what's slowing things up a little bit. Who's willing to take that contract? Because that's a lot of money to be paying Dame, and he's still a plus player. Just he's not 2016 Dame.
The good thing about the contract, not to cut you off, but the good thing about the contract for other teams, I feel like if they do pick it up, you got Dame under your umbrella for a few years, so you don't have to worry about. Okay, if this season doesn't go well, will Dame decide to, pick up and leave? Like James Harden, he's going to wind up in the same situation at the end of next season as he is this season. But if you was to pick up the Dame contract, you would have him for a substantial amount of time. But like you said, a lot of people don't really speak on his contract when we talk about these trade requests and stuff like that. Would Portland look bad keeping Dame? Like holding Dame until they get the right package that they see fit, like forget Miami and all that. Can you see somewhat Portland starting the season off with Damian Lillard in a uniform?
I could, but I don't think that's a good look for them. I don't think that's going to help your team. Like it took him how long to officially request the trade. But
like
I think at this point you try to find the best deal, and you get a move before the regular season. Could you go in with him? Sure, but I don't think. I think with fan reaction, I think you're at a point where you're just gonna have to make a move one way or another.
It's gonna be tough because they're gonna need a third team to take on Tyler Hero's contract with this trade. Portland doesn't.
Miami. Yeah.
They don't want nothing to do with Tyler Hero for whatever reason. I know. Brooklyn, the Nets was a team that was talks about being a possible third team for this situation. If you had to take your pick, though, Scrub, where will Damian Lillard be playing next year?
If I had to take a pick, if I had to pick, I'd guess Miami. I think they'll ultimately get that done somehow, some way. But,
so you'll ultimately go with the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Now, does he make the Miami Heat, like I know they went to the finals last year, does he make them automatic contenders again in the East?
I think they keep a leg up on they're still up there with Boston. I think they won't lose. They still have the advantage over Boston, in my opinion, with him.
Now Boston picked up? Kristaps Porzingis?
Yep.
So the Celtics got a little bit of size. They still got Jalen and Jason. I see what's his name? Greg Williams, I think his name is.
Grant Williams.
Grant Williams. I think he's talks about being traded possibly or something like that. But you think Miami will have a leg up on Boston? What about Philly if James Harden remains in Philly?
Philly's
Would
still a
this
second round
Miami
exit with or without Harden? They not
not
getting
gonna make
past
a
the second
difference?
round. I'm done with them. Their window's closed. They couldn't win. They couldn't get through this year. They ain't ever get through. Not with this score. They gonna have to move on.
What about the Bucks, Milwaukee?
Part of that, I know part of that's going to be health, but first, so that is a concern. But I don't think Milwaukee still matches up against Boston well. I still think in the 7-game series, Boston has their number, and Miami plays them pretty well too. So I don't really love their chances to get in the finals if they have to go against one or both of them.
I'm just trying to think about how that thing would look on a basketball court when you got Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler.
Well, Jimmy Butler is the number 2 who had to be the number 1 for their team. Like we saw after this postseason, particularly in the finals, that Jimmy Butler really is a number 2. And with Dame, you mitigate that issue. So Butler, you're not counting on him to score 25 points every night. You just need him to score like 20 and play his usual defense and whatnot.
But what about the fact that Jimmy Butler, for the most part, has always been a number 1? Do you think he'd be willing to take a back seat to Dame, especially in the fourth quarter, especially clutch time, especially in the postseason? Because that's where Jimmy Buckets have pretty much made his money, made his legacy, in clutch time. And when you look at his resume outside of Derrick Rose, he pretty much was the best player on Minnesota. You can say that Joel was the number 1 in Philly. That could partially been the reason why he left Philly after one season. So I'm not sure if Jimmy Butler is ready to defer to anybody else. He's helped build what Miami has. So what do you think about Jimmy? Is he willing to take a back seat to Dame for clutch?
I don't think he has an issue taking a back seat to someone who really is a number 1. Remember a lot. He wanted to stay in Philly, but Philly made their decision. They kept Tobias Harris. How you keep Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler, I have no idea. But we see how that's worked out for them. Tobias Harris he's okay, but he's not no star player. He's a good role player. Butler is a star player, but like he'll take the back. Like I don't think it'll be an issue as far as him and Dame playing off each other. I just don't see it making a difference once we get to if you got to take on a team like Denver again, because Miami still needs to get some size.
Yeah, that's a fact. When you look at the most fourth quarter points per game from last season, Damian Lillard is tied for 4th, averaging just under 8 points per game, shooting at a 48% clip, tied with Steph Curry for the most fourth quarter points per game. So that definitely would be one thing that just concerns me the most, is how Jimmy would be in clutch time or in the fourth quarter, because he's been the guy for the most part for the last few years. Everybody has pretty much gathered themselves around him. Has Dame messed up waiting too long for a trade? Has he missed out on some real opportunities trying to be loyal to Portland? Because when you look at this stat, he has the third longest tenure. He's the third longest tenure active player with one squad playing with Portland for 11 seasons. Do you think that he has sacrificed some opportunities to win big by not requesting a trade earlier?
Yes and no. That a lot, because it sounds good. It's just we don't know where he would have ended up had he requested a trade earlier. And who's to say that it wouldn't end up the same way as it has in Portland. Let's be honest. Let's also be honest about something. Portland's had a few chances to get themselves to finals, and Dame Lillard has been part of the reason they've come up short. Remember
Now,
against Golden?
when
Mhm.
you say that, are you saying because of his production or because the lack of leadership from
Combination of
Dame?
both. Because
Mm.
a combination of both. Because look at conference finals they won against Golden State. They were up in the fourth quarter every game, and
Yep.
they tricked it off every single time. They a few years before that they were the 3 seed against the Pelicans with Anthony Davis and Rajon Rondo. No Boogie Cousins, and you still get yourself bounced out. Swept, if I remember correctly.
If I'm not mistaken, they was up on the Lakers in the playoffs when the Lakers won in the bubble. I know that was the bubble
But
playoffs, but
but
Portland, I
still,
think,
he's
was
like another opportunity tricked
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah.
Like at some point, it's like okay, yeah, like would you wish you had some more high end talent? Sure, but you had enough to get to the postseason. You've had enough to get some top 3 seeds and whatnot. Where's the results to show for it?
If we take a look at these three squads, Scrub, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Miami Heat, or the Brooklyn Nets, I know you just said you more than likely feel like he will remain or probably go to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of those three teams, though, would have the quickest path to the championship, to the finals, if they was to pick up Dame? Philly, Brooklyn, or Miami? With
I would
what
say
they
my
got now. Like
uh,
let's say for whatever reason, Philly keeps Harden and
mm-hmm,
Embiid, and maybe get rid of Maxey and bring
to
over
bring
Dame.
the star power would be there, but I think they still fall short
Mm.
because I still don't trust it. I don't trust Embiid. I don't trust Harden, and like just them two guys alone, and then Dame Lillard. I don't know if I love that combination because now it really is like I know James Harden can defer, but who's going to step up when you need him to most? Dame will step up for like a game or two. He'll get you through the first round, but we get later into that postseason. Who's going to be the guy to close it out? Who's going to come up big? And we've seen all three of them come up short in big moments.
What don't you like about Joel Embiid?
John, man, that boy, man, that boy's
Defending MVP, right? Won the MVP this series.
won an MVP and still found a way to trick off the dang on series against Boston.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like, it was there for you. You had Game 6. You was in your home court, and y'all blow it. And then Game 7, y'all just decide tuck your tails and don't talk to me about Joel Embiid. He got it. He got his MVP, and what did it matter? Not a goddamn thing. Don't talk to me about no MVP Joel Embiid again.
That's a fact. It didn't mean nothing. It didn't mean anything. You're right. I don't know, man. It's just going to be interesting to see how this thing play out with Damian Lillard because, again, he has been super loyal to Portland. He hasn't been in the media talking a whole bunch of negative stuff. So you would think that organization would do whatever they could do to make sure that he lands somewhere good. But looking at what the teams are offering them, they don't want these packages. And it seems like the organization, despite Dame being loyal, Portland is going to put their needs above Damian Lillard's wants and needs. And that's typical in any business. It just seems a little bit weird because Dame has been one of the more loyal players in the NBA, and Portland doesn't have any real chance of winning sooner than later. So you would feel like, why not just do whatever it takes to make Dame look good. But look at the Houston Rockets. Like, anything can happen. Like, it only takes 1 year, 2 years to really make some type of adjustment. And I know we still got to see them play, but I feel like the Houston Rockets got a real solidified chance to at least make the play-in tournament now that they done picked up the likes of Dylan Brooks and who else they picked up? Fred VanVleet, and they got Coach Ime Udoka now.
And they
And
had a good
the other
draft
young
too.
pieces. Yeah. So, anything can really happen in this league. I just
But the thing is, you got some of these teams. I don't know I haven't paid too much attention to Houston, so I don't know how how they are going to go about it. But like we've seen a lot of these teams, they're not interested in winning. Not
Yeah.
because OKC they got all these young players, which is good, but you have too many young players that you haven't proven, and you could, and with all the potential they have, let's just say, you could probably flip some of these guys, get some proven veterans, and actually make a postseason run.
To try to win now.
Yeah, even if it's not a championship, like you could still like start competing for, like get to like the 6th, the 5th seed, and really start making a run in these postseasons.
Right.
But if OKC ain't serious, they've been hanging around on these players. They good being in that playing situation, at least from what I've seen.
And they don't even have experience. Like, who's coaching the Thunder?
I don't even know.
Yeah, like I don't even know where the experience really lies with that franchise. So,
and the thing is, they got a lot of young guys that you get some key veteran guys. They can make a postseason run right now.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. You know, when I look at the landscape, I don't think the Clippers is out of the mix. I know a lot of people not talking about the Clippers, but I don't see the Clippers out of the mix. But if I had to pick one team, more than likely it would probably be Miami. I think Portland would look really bad not appeasing to what Dame is requesting for real. No doubt.
Like Dame, I think Dame, like ideally it's Miami. I think there are a few places Dame would go and he wouldn't be upset. Wouldn't be his preferred destination, but I think he'd be all right with, like, if he ended up on the Clippers and they somehow were able to keep George and Kawhi. Like, I don't think he'd be too upset with that. Although they did retain Russ, so you probably have to move him.
My last question for you, bro, because Damian Lillard has always been talking about how he don't like super teams and how, he never really jacked that whole building, a whole squad. It seemed like his energy, of course, has changed because he's requesting this trade. What do you think was the deciding factor in Damian Lillard switching his energy?
He just time. He saw what the landscape was. Because listen, life happens. You see certain things and you change your mind. How you think right now may not be how you think 5 years from now, just based off of how many things goes on in life. So I think he came to a realization, you know what? I did what I could for Portland. Time to move on. I wish he handled it a little bit better because it's like, we know you kind of need to be out of here. You just, instead of having all this speculation, is he going to go? Is he going to say all that? Just say, you know what? I'm gonna go. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Is he better than Steph Curry to you?
No. If you look at how they match up historically, Steph Curry has cooked this boy on a constant basis.
What about Kyrie?
Him the business. I take Kyrie over him myself.
You take Kyrie Irving over Damian Lillard?
Yes.
Wow. Hold on one second.
Oh, here we go.
Hold up. Wait a minute. So wait a minute. So you would take Kyrie over Dame? Why?
My biggest concern is that Kyrie is more so health. When he's on the court, he's always found a way to get it done. Like he's can score the ball. He gets his own shot when he ever needs to. In late game situation, he comes up big. A lot of it's just been it's been some unfortunate situations he's had to deal with. But think about when everything's been there for him. Have we really been able to say that he hasn't held up on his end? Like, what he's been able to play, he's been healthy, all that. Can we really say that Kyrie has not held up on his end as far as doing what he can to help his team?
Yeah, I agree with that because, like, even though they had the little friction in Brooklyn, he was playing very well at a point, even though, it was a lot of BS going down. The only red flag that just comes to mind to me was just his experience in Boston. I know he wasn't fully healthy, but when he came back, that team seemed to miss a beat a little bit because they seem to be playing better without him. But outside of that, yeah, like you said, man, every time he's had an opportunity to capitalize or make the best of a situation, he's been clutch. He's been there. Cleveland may not have that championship if it wasn't for Kyrie partially. So, I can agree with that. Damn, you really got Kyrie over Dame. I mean, I love Kyrie Irving. Best handles in the game. I just think overall availability,
On an
less
availability
drama.
standpoint, I definitely got to take Dame because
Yeah,
he's never not been available. It's like if we just talking about that, I got to give it to Dame right there because
word.
he's always going to show up. But as far as him actually being there now, what him coming through, that's a different discussion.
Different story. All right, Scrub, I appreciate you coming through, man. I'm about to go ahead and sign off, get my grill ready. Again, happy 4th of July to you and your family, my G.
Same to you, bro.
Appreciate you as always. Yes, sir. Salute again to everybody, man, for coming through. I will be back live tomorrow around this time with another edition of the Best of 7. Big up again to my guy, Scrub Zero, coming through, talking about Damian Lillard. Everybody, y'all be safe, and I will get at you guys tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.